Okay, I've been hearing a little bit of a squeak inside my engine compartment coming from the belt area. So right now there's not a squeak. You hit the gas and it starts to squeak. You hear the squeak of the belt right now. I'm coming to a stop on this red light, and then you can hear as we come to a stop, the normal idle of the truck. There's hardly a squeak at all. Okay, we're starting back up, and then you hear the squeak again. So I'm going to try to replace the belt and replace this idler pulley. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is loosen up the belt tensioner. You can see it right here. Hopefully you can see that. Now a lot of people, they try taking out this whole air intake to make room for it, but I think I might have room without needing to take that out, and ideally I'd like to do that. Any steps I can skip, I would like to. The first thing we need to do is release the tension from the belt. To do this, we need to find the belt tensioner, put a socket on it, and turn it, and the tensioner pulley will move down and release the tension on the belt. A little bit too big. I first tried releasing the tension from the tensioner pulley using a 16mm bit, but found that a 5/8 bit was the one that really fitted. This is a better fit. 5/8. That looks like it's the actual size here. And while you're pushing down on the tensioner pulley, you should have enough slack on the belt to slide it off the top idler pulley. There we go. So I just pushed down it temporarily and got the belt over the idler. So temporarily pushing down on that tensioner pulley, I got it over top of this, and now I should be able to pull this out. And to take the belt off, you actually need to go around the fan, so towards the radiator. So I'm going to push this over the fan, towards the radiator, all the way around it. So I can see how taking out this could give you some more space, the intake, but my arms are skinny enough that I was able to work through. You could also go under the car if you don't want to take that out. Another thing that you could do is go to your air intake and unclip it as if you were changing the filter, and this will give you some more space to push it out of the way without fully removing the intake. Now this belt actually looks like it's in pretty good condition. And I don't see a lot wrong with it. But belts are cheap, and I already have another one. Before putting on a new belt, it's always a good idea to compare it to the old belt first. They do not look like they're the same size to me. Let's take off the idler pulley and replace it. I'm guessing this little score right here is contributing to the squeak. If you're also doing this job, the socket that you need to use is a 15mm socket. Also, don't make the mistake that I did. While you do need to turn the tensioner pulley to the right to release tension, to remove the idler pulley, don't turn in that same direction like I did at first. You need to turn the other way, to the left, to loosen the idler pulley. Alright, so we got out the original one here. We can see a little mark on here. I'm guessing is contributing to my squeak. So I'm just going to apply the same bolt and nut. Let me just make sure it's about the same size. It is. Don't forget to add the washer to the back. And it can feel a little tight to get the pulley with the bolt through it back in the slot, but once you do, just tighten it back up. There we go. I'm going to start turning it by hand to get it in there a bit before I use the tool to tighten it up. So it looks like the parts store sold me a part that won't fit on the car. This is a PK2235 and this one is a PK2230. So the good news is the old one doesn't really look that bad.
In fact, there's no cracks in it, and it's really not that old to begin with.
The engine diagram tells us how it needs to go back on. And you want the grooves to go on the grooves. I'm going to have to get this around the fan again. The only thing is that this should be under, and I'm going to have to get the tensioner released to get that under. See if I get it on all the way. I'm going to check all the pulleys to make sure it is on the way we want. And to me it actually looks good, like it's back on. There, around there. Oh, we want to take this out for sure. Luckily I kept my receipt to AutoZone. Alright, moment of truth. Let's go see how this looks. And sounds.
It sounds decent enough at regular idle.
Sounds dead silent from inside the car. The real test is going to be moving it down the road a little bit. Well, I don't hear the belt squeak anymore. And if I'm honest, I might be just content to keep the existing belt that was in there. It looked good. It didn't look like it was a problem. It was probably just that idler pulley. And I will return the belt that doesn't fit and get my money back.